What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's a Tuesday service type of night. We didn't have a Sunday service. I was on my way back from Las Vegas, so there was no live stream on Sunday. We don't have a card on Saturday, so there's not really much to do this week other than recap the Apex card. We also got, Jon Jones being a little weasel out there. We got some fight announcements that weren't available to us on the Sunday service live stream. We talked about it a little bit on the breakdown of UFC Vegas 106. But I'm going to open this up to the chat, man. We just got back Sunday night from Las Vegas. I was there from Friday night to Sunday night. And obviously, I went to the Apex. I just dropped the entire vlog on the Hey Jai Picks YouTube channel. So if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that after the live stream. It's only about 10 or 11 minute vlog, and then I gave my full review. So it's about a 28-minute video. Overall, I thought the Apex was pretty sick, man. And I'm sure you're probably going to be able to pick up on that throughout the video. But I want to see, how what the chat has to say about it, what kind of questions that the chat has about the Apex, because I'm pretty much a professional when it comes to UFC live events, dude. I've been to so many. I've been to different experiences as well, in the lounges, in the suites, in the stands. I've been all the way up in the last row of a pay-per-view in Miami. I've been down on the floor. I've been to so many. So I got to, give my expertise when it comes to somebody that has a question about they're trying to buy tickets, because the investment to go to a UFC event nowadays is just ridiculous. And if you aren't really educated on it, you're probably just taking a shot in the dark and you're blowing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on UFC tickets. So you probably want to get a little bit of an insight on how it's going to go, whether you go to an Apex, a pay-per-view, a fight night, whatever it is. So that's what I'm here for, boys. If you don't want to talk about the Apex, that's fine. We can talk about whatever you guys want. So I'm going to open this up to the chat. We got Fabrizio in the chat. Chi Wee Wees. I did meet Raul Rosas Jr., which was very brief. But his head definitely looks as big as it does online as it does in person. I mean, the guy's head is huge. And even in the picture that we took, I'm like, geez, dude, his head is mogging mine. And I don't have like a small head. I have a fairly sized head for at least my body. At least it's proportionate to my body. I'm probably a couple inches taller than Raul Rosas Jr., but that dude's head is like a heavyweight's head, dude. Like, it is huge. And the picture we took, obviously he was looking elsewhere, which is kind of weird, but he wasn't too super interested in taking a pic with Hey Jai. I'm going to pop this Chino in. Little 6 milli Gumpilli into the top deck. We can hit more of these chats. Fat Daddy Sacks. I left you. What's going on, Fat Daddy Sacks? I said bet the house on Thiago, and the good news is I have until the end of the month. Well, hey, better find something on the next card, because buddy did not have a great performance. Old Thiago. Why is Gamrot line so low? Probably because he's coming off the loss, and Ludovic Klein has looked pretty dang good as of recently. I mean, he's on what? A 6-fight no-loss streak. He had the draw with Jai Herbert, but he's 6-0-1 in his last 7, so that's probably why. Tad with the GOAT chat, how we doing, brother? Yo, Tyler, how we doing? It was good, man. It was good. I think that's probably, if I'm going to spend $1,500 to $2,000 on UFC tickets, it's probably the way I want to go. Honestly, I've been to the pay-per-views, I've been to the fight nights, and honestly, every time I go to an event now, I want to go in like a lounge just because it's a lot easier and you're not as crammed. You can go get drinks, go to the bathroom whenever you want. So that's why I like the lounges. I also like to walk around a little bit, talk to people. Can't really do that in a chair. So whenever I go to an event now, I kind of want to be in a lounge or a suite, and those are very expensive, which is usually, it's going to be cheaper to go to the Apex. Actually, if you're going to go to a lounge, it's probably going to be $2,500, if not more. So going to the Apex at, $1,600 to $2,000 might be the better way to do it. I'm definitely going to go back, though. I'm definitely going to go back. Do I train with Gilbert Burns? No, I do not. No, I do not. I do not train with Gilbert Burns, but he's a part of Humble Fight, and that's why we're there to support him. He is one of my business partners. So that sucked to see, but at least I got to go see Gilbert in a main event, and we were there to support him. So the overall result of the main event was not what we wanted, but it was an outcome that you could prepare yourself for. He was a huge underdog, so it's not really like I was going in there thinking he's going to mop the floor with this guy, Michael Morales. I knew Michael Morales was super good, super young, that dude was huge. Michael Morales in person looked almost 2 weight classes above Gilbert Burns. He was walking out, and we were kind of chirping him on the walkout, and my buddy Kyle goes, "You better be ready." And he just looks at us and smiles. And I was like, holy shit, we're fucked. We're fucked. And we were. It did not go well. Did not go well in the main event. Kind of sad to see. Not a good way to end the night. But overall, it was a fun time. The Apex is good for the UFC. And if they only did live crowds, the fans would still complain. You're probably right. And this is kind of what I realized when I was sitting there and going through the whole thing. Like, as a fan, I loved the ease of the experience. Like, as I said in the recap, I'm like, I can go get food. It's literally just steps away. It's all free. If I want a drink, they'll literally bring me a drink to my seat. If I want to go to the bathroom, there's no lines. If you've ever been to an event before, the lines to the bathroom are super long because most of the guys in the arena are male, and they're all going to the bathroom after the fight. So, like, the bathroom lines are crazy. There's no bathroom line at the Apex. So it's just super easy. And I'm like, dude, I totally get why the UFC does these Apex cards, because it's so easy for them. It's so easy for them to put on. They don't have to deal with all these fans. They don't have to deal with, for one, paying for an arena. Like, they got it down pat so easily. There's not as many people to get involved, which means less of a headache. They can set up their crew pretty damn easily. There's not much of a crew. It's just too easy for them not to do Apex cards. So that's kind of why I look at it like, yeah, I get why you're doing all these Apex cards, especially, the level of the card. It's not going to sell out, even a fight night arena. So it makes sense, man. The third round of Costa Rosa was so good. Such a great round. That was probably the moment of the night where the crowd got the loudest, honestly. Throughout a fight, that was probably the loudest that the crowd got. Crowd's very small. But that was a fight. It was fight of the night, obviously. But that was a fight that, like, everyone was into. Some of the fights, like, you couldn't even tell that there was a fight on. Like, Myron Santos, Sadiq Youssef, that fight was terrible. And honestly, at one point, I'm, like, looking down at my phone, and there's, like, it almost seems like there's not even a fight going on. There's nobody in the crowd that's into it. That fight sucked. And usually if there's a bad fight in an arena, there's going to be fans booing and yelling and making them do something. But there's not that in the Apex. So that is the downside of it as well. How is Gilbert? Send him love. He's good, man. He's good. He's got another baby on the way. So he's attending to his family, man. He's a big family man, and taking care of them. I'm sure the loss was tough to swallow, but it's part of the game. Part of the game. What's going on, Roman? How we doing? How much is the lounge ticket? The lounge. So I've been to 2 lounges, both at T-Mobile Arena. One lounge I stayed at was a lot higher up, but it was a nice lounge, super nice lounge. It's actually where, like, most of the fighters go before they go down to their seats for the main card. So if you're there for the prelims, you're going to see a lot of fighters. I saw Brandon Moreno, Michael Chandler, Cheeto Vera, Khalil Roundtree. Like, that's where most of the fighters hang out before they go down to their seats for the main card. So those up there were only like $900. Maybe it was $1,000, but that was for UFC 300. So maybe they'd be less if it wasn't UFC 300, but they were around $1,000. The lounge is super nice, but the view of the actual fight sucked. Like, you could barely see anything. You were so high up, but the vibe was nice. We also stayed at the Bud Light Lounge, which is a lot lower and a lot more expensive, but still pretty nice. With the Bud Light Lounge, you actually get a seat in, like, the 100 section, but then you also have access to the lounge, so you can go up there watch on the TV, sit down at a table, eat, get food, get drinks. That was probably my favorite lounge I've been to, just because you have a seat you can go to if you want to, but the lounge access is pretty sick. What a quitter Camilo, man. Well, Camilo, I think he just gassed out, man. I think he just gassed out. I mean, he had him in that triangle. I thought it was over. And when Gabe Green picked him up and slammed him, I was like, dude, you're probably slamming yourself further into this triangle. But he got out of it, man. I think the squeeze on that triangle just gassed the guy out. You could tell right after he lost it, that dude was donezo. You think Patchy Mix is the best bantamweight in the world? I don't know how much I should say about this, so I'm not going to say it because I don't know if I want to say it or if I should say it. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if he's the best in the world, but considering who the champion is right now, from what I've heard, his chances at beating the champion right now might not be too bad. Let's just say that. I'll just say that. I don't know how he matches up with a lot of other guys. I'd have to really think about it. How he matches up with Bautista is going to be interesting, but also think Patchy Mix's last fight against Magomed Magomedov was a pretty close fight. And not that Magomedov is a bad fighter, but you know, Bellator doesn't have the killers, you know, that the UFC bantamweight division does, but it does have a really good bantamweight division, and he's rolled through most of those guys. But that last fight was, you could see, you know, like he can be very competitive with a lot of the guys. So I think he's going to be good in the UFC for sure. And like I said, I think he matches up with the champion right now, maybe pretty decently. We'll see. Now is the time for Gilbert versus Colby. Just saying, that is still main card pay-per-view worthy. Dude, I think that's the fight they got to make. I hope that's the fight that they make, because Gilbert just had to go up against these young, up-and-coming guys over and over and over again. Jack Della, Sean Brady, Michael Morales. Like, give the old man another old man. Like, come on. Keep just giving him the new age of the welterweight division. Like, he's going to be an underdog against almost any of those guys. So it's tough, man. It's tough. But, you know, it's probably not what the UFC wants. They probably don't want to throw Gilbert and Kobe on a card. They rather, you know, match them up against a young guy, get the new age in. You think UFC adds a 9th fight to UFC 317? Yeah, they're definitely going to add fights. I mean, what do they have listed right now? 8 fights? That's probably not enough. They'll probably add 3 or 4, honestly. 10 at the minimum. Looked like a middleweight versus a lightweight. Dude, it really did. Morales was huge, man. It's probably a tough question. Did Morales look that good? Did Gilbert look that bad? Or a little bit of both? I think Morales' just explosiveness and physicality was just too much for Gilbert in the moment. And I think Gilbert was like, dude, I just can't hang with this kid right now. You know, he tried to take him down. I think he got him down, but it wasn't much control time. He didn't really do much with it. Then he got back up to his feet, and Morales was just on him, landing heavy blows. And it was just too much for him. People that bet don't care if it's in the Apex. That's true. That is also true, which I probably should have went over in my review, is that, you know, I bet, and I bet on a lot of fights. So I'm not just there as a fight fan. I am a fight fan, but I'm not there just watching the fights, hoping for entertainment. Like, if it's the women's MMA on the prelims, I'll probably have a bet on it. So, like, I have something to root for, so I might be a little bit more engaged. That fight was garbage, was hella disappointed in Sadiq, but I get he had the layoff. Yeah, dude, that fight sucked, dude. That fight absolutely sucked. I can't believe I put 0.5 units on Carlos Hernandez by decision. I need to learn maths. One of my worst bets ever. Park finished him in round 1. I need to reevaluate my betting. Hey, I know that's a dig at me. I'm going to say that's definitely not the worst bet I've made, but you're going to lose bets when you're in the sports betting game, buddy. So you take your losses and you move on. Overall, we're up like a little bit of money on the night. It wasn't much at all, but yeah, you lose a bet. You're going to lose bets when you're betting in any type of sport. I didn't think Lisboa had much to offer, so felt bold. I went with Santos inside the distance at like plus 450, so I didn't even care about the outcome of the rest of the event. Well, that was a sharp bet. And Luana Santos, her family, I think, might have had the best cheering section. They were going crazy, man. Every single time, almost every time. I mean, there's 11 fights? I'd probably say 8 out of the 11 fights that went down, the fighter's family that I was betting against was in front of me. So that kind of sucked. Because like they're there cheering and you're behind them, like trying to cheer against them, but I didn't really like try to overstep that boundary. But Luana Santos's family was going nuts, dude. They were yelling in Portuguese, "Opa, opa!" Like whenever she did anything. It was kind of annoying, but she got the dub. I'm not gonna say it, bro. Sorry, bro. Much love, respect to Gilbert. Had to slam my day one money line hit for 11K. I wonder who's your day one money line. Oh, Michael Morales, not money line. Michael Morales hit for 11K. Must have the KO then. If Pesci doesn't get Bautista out of there, which I'm really confident he will, I'm gonna cry. I mean, he's not terrible, man. Like he's a solid fighter. Like that's a good fight for Patchy to come into the UFC and test his abilities. Patchy Mix got that dog food name. ABD saying he's the best outside the best organization is just unfounded. Ali ABD? I don't know who ABD is. What's your lean on John Cena versus R-Truth? I don't have a lean. Don't have a lean. I don't even know if that's a real thing. So how did your meeting with El Disgusto go? Does he have the ugly guy lisp in person, or is that just a thing he does for the camera? I didn't even hear him say a word, honestly. I walked up to him. I was like, yo, can I get a picture with you? I think he just nodded his head. I don't even think he said anything. I don't know. I was kind of buzzed at that point, so probably just wasn't really in the moment. I think it's nuts that rumors going around that Yair is going to get a title shot over Evloev. That would be disgusting. I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that, honestly. Yair should have to fight like a really tough matchup to really prove himself. Who was that guy, who was that Dan Tom guy that was talking all that BS about Arosa and the other Brazilian guy looking sharp? LOL? I don't know what you're referring to be honest. Do you agree with Topuria being minus 375 against Charles? Charles is a massive compared to Topuria. I don't know that minus 375 is like accurate. I would probably put Topuria at like minus 250, minus 280. Like I still think Topuria wins, but yeah, he's a pretty big favorite, man. And Charles is pretty big. If Ilya can't close the range, which isn't really a problem that he's ever really had, then it can get interesting. But like Charles is going to have to use a lot of teeps up the middle, a lot of knees up the middle. He's got to keep them away and then try to capitalize once they're in the clinch with like knees to the body, elbows. Look for like some type of trip takedowns. Look to be opportunistic with some submissions. There's ways that Charles could win. I just think Topuria still wins. Danny Barlow versus CM Punk prediction. I think CM Punk can maybe punk him out, dude. Is Morales fruity? I saw a video, but not so sure. I don't know. I think the guy just has a bunch of confidence. I don't even think he cares. He kind of looks like a pretty boy to me. Like he's got like he had like colored hair, got these tattoos. He's like always trying to like smile and like look pretty, which is cool. It's cool. You're undefeated. You could do that, bro. What's up, Tiago? How we doing? Rosa looked flat AF. He did come out like really slow, which was weird because he's usually a fast starter. But maybe he didn't want to rush into anything, and maybe he thought he could, take over late. But yeah, he looked kind of flat in that first round. And then rounds 2 and 3, I thought were close, but I understand why they gave it to Costa. Chee-wee-wees. Most confident picks next card. I haven't really looked at it too much, man. Can't really tell you. Predictions for Spivak versus Cortez Acosta. I think if Cortez Acosta is like, he'll probably be the underdog. But if he's more than like a plus 140, I might have to take a shot. Because he's solid, man. Cortez Acosta is solid. It's just he hasn't really faced a grappler, and Spivak is kind of used to fighting non-grapplers, more of the boxing, kickboxing style. So we'll see, but I think Spivak will be the favorite. I haven't seen a line on that. Maybe it's up. I don't know what that means. Also, Lisboa, holy smokes, this is an MMA fight. 0 takedown defense. I don't know if she even prepared or had a proper game plan because, wow, we knew Santos was going to shoot takedowns. Yeah, dude, I didn't understand how she got those so easily. I thought for sure Santos was going to have to hit some judo stuff, but I think she caught a kick in like round 2 or something like that. It was just brutal. Arlevitt, Goff, Jacoby Oki, and Elliot Locke's next card. Again, haven't looked at the card too much. Can't really give you that insight because it's not even, there's nothing this Saturday and there's another, it's next Saturday. So I'm not going to dive into it too deep. There could be fight cancellations, all that. A lot of stuff can happen in between then. El Disgusto. Yair doesn't deserve it at all. I agree. I think they are making Jon versus Lopez. Diego Lopez was at the Apex. I saw him across. He was in Dana White's section. And I was hoping I could see him out by the lounging area, but he never came out there. So, yeah, I saw Diego there. Diego versus John Silva is interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't do Diego versus Yair Rodriguez. That makes so much more sense. I don't know why you wouldn't capitalize on that little beef that they have, but Jon versus Lopez is interesting because I think they would probably be pretty closely lined. Ruzaboy, a big disappointment. Can't bring myself to bet on him again, even though he won. Just going to pass on him either way. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of was impressed with him winning a decision, but that's just because I've always thought he was more of a round 1 KO or bust type of guy, but I think he's rounding out his skill set. Stoltzfus isn't like the best fighter out there, but he fought out of a submission. I think the knockdown that happened, or at least the drop that happened in round 1 was more of a head clash. And then in rounds 2 and 3, like he just kind of outworked him a little bit. Why does Jared Gordon not get respect? He is pretty good. Well, I think it's just because of his age, and he doesn't really do anything amazing. But his striking, I think, is just super underrated. Like, he's a solid striker, man. And his power is a little bit underrated. One thing I threw in on my, I put some long shot bets in at Circa, and I was just looking at it. I was like, I got a bet on Jared Gordon money line, and I looked at his KO number. It was plus 975. I was like, shit, I'll throw $100 on that. Good thing I did, because I made almost $1,000 off of that bet. So that was one of the few long shots that hit for me. But yeah, you got it done. KO. You think Jon Jones is really done? And what are the chances the Tom fight happens? I think Jon is done, man. I don't think Jon is at a point where he even cares to entertain a fight with Tom Aspinall. All he really cares about now is like entertaining himself by trolling the media or the fans out there that want the fight to happen. Like, I don't want to say it's selfish, but like, dude, you're kind of being selfish by just holding on to this belt and trolling everybody when the fight could be made whenever you say so. And you're just holding on to the belt while Tom Aspinall is like waiting for you to say yes, or he's got to defend his interim championship that he's already defended. So just vacate the belt so they can make an undisputed title fight. Doesn't have to have you in it. And if you want to come back and fight Tom, then you could just fight for the belt again. And I'm sure the money's going to be fine either way. Whether you fight Tom after he defends or after he fights for the undisputed title fight or not. Like, I'm sure the money's still going to be the same. So he's kind of being a dick about it. Straight up. Do you think Toporia's power will be slightly reduced at lightweight? Probably slightly, yeah. Probably slightly. But you also got to remember, Charles is an ex-featherweight as well. I know it was a long time ago, but he was an ex-featherweight. I need your take on Olio versus Oliveira. I don't know if you follow MMA chick, but she thinks Charles needs to rush him and throw a kick. I think Ilya floors him in a minute if Charles comes out that way. I don't think he needs to rush him. I think that would be stupid. I think he needs to be smart early on, but be effective at range with a lot of shots coming up the middle. He can't get backed up against the cage. He's got to really control the center of the octagon early on, which is very tough to do against Topuria. But one way you can do that against a boxer is to throw a lot of kicks up the middle. And considering he's going to be longer, even if he throws a kick and it gets countered, it's probably not going to hit him, if he's defensively sound. So throw a lot of kicks up the middle. If Ilya is starting to close that range, throw knees up the middle, start to clinch him, use that clinch work, knees to the body, elbows off the break. I would try to lull him into a fight where he's being a little bit over aggressive, and you can capitalize by clinching him up, being the bigger guy, getting double unders on him, doing work in the clinch. If you can't get him down, obviously you'd want to get him down, but if you can't get him down, doing work in the clinch and start to wear on him a little bit. Because if he doesn't have early success, if Topuria doesn't have early success in a fight, we haven't really seen what his gas tank looks like. I'm not going to say it's bad, but, the fights that have extended, he knocked out Holloway in the third round. Well, he was having success the whole fight. The fight against Josh Emmett went the full 25 minutes, but he was having success the whole fight. So if he's able to poke away at him early, get him up in the clinch, make him work a little bit where he's not having success, not getting all these early reads, then he could maybe take it over. So he's going to have a good game plan. But luckily for Charles, he might have Ian Gary in his corner. He might have Ian Gary in his camp. And Ian Gary seems like he's the master of the game plan. So, yeah, I wouldn't totally count him out. Who'd you have in a future fight? Topuria versus Rufy. I think that should be a sick fight. I think Topuria would beat Rufy. Yeah. I mean, unless Rufy just starts knocking guys out that aren't 40-year-old Bobby Green, then maybe we could talk. But right now, I got to Topuria. Rosa got a granite chin for real. Well, he doesn't really have a granite chin, but I mean, maybe it just hit a little resurgence because he's been knocked out like 5 times. That was always his kryptonite, but it seems like he's shorted up a little bit. Ona Costa. Cortez is plus 150 right now. Dude, look at that. I said if Cortez was plus 140 or higher, I would go for it. And that's kind of the, plus 150. That's like kind of around where I thought it would be. I thought Spivak would be the favorite. Cortez maybe plus 130 to 150 range. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably about where I would line it. Guy in the long shot show. I didn't do the long shot show. That's probably why I'm not sure what you're talking about. Trains at Extreme, and he's talking BS about Arosa and Camilo. Looks so sharp, and nobody wants to spar with them in the gym. I don't know what he was talking about either. I'd have to go back and look at it. Yair versus Lopez and Mozart versus Volk are the obvious fights to make. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Prades versus Morales, who you got? I think I would have to go Morales, dude. I honestly think I would, just because the dude is a physical specimen, and Carlos Prates a little bit frail, man. Like, he's a big, long guy, but as we saw in the Ian Gary fight, if you can make that guy go backwards, he's not as effective. And I don't think Morales would give him the pleasure of being downhill. So I think Morales might take him. You doing bets for Road to UFC? I got to take a look at it, man. Probably got to watch some film and see if there's anything I like, but I'm going to take a look for sure. How did Burns lose his chin in the last couple fights? Is it just getting older? Yeah, and the JDM knockout was pretty brutal, man. He took a lot of follow-up shots that did not need to be taken. But I don't really think it's like a chin thing. I think it's just, he's getting older, and these guys are a lot faster. It just kind of overwhelms you too. I don't see anybody beating John Silva right now. Dude's on fire. I mean, they're probably going to match him up nicely, man. Yair versus Diego is the fight to make right now. In my opinion, I feel like it should be Silva versus Emmett. And if Silva wins and Diego win, then they fight each other. I'd be down with that. Early thoughts on Gamrot versus Klein. I'm tempted to I got to watch more film on it. I watched a little bit today, but I'm tempted to take Gamrot because Gamrot's usually a big favorite, and now he's pretty nicely priced. I mean, he's what, minus 150? And he hasn't really fought any grapplers, man. He hasn't fought any grapplers in his 6-0-1 streak. And the one grappler that he fought was Moises, and Moises is a good grappler when the fight hits the mat, but he just can't get it there. Gamrot, really good at getting it there. But Klein is a solid dude. Like, he's 5'7", like tough to take down because he's so low center of gravity, and he's good at using his kicks to keep range. So it's an interesting one. Definitely one I'm going to have my eye on, and definitely going to be watching a lot of film on. John's busy playing with lady boys in Thailand. Very true. How was it meeting Rosas Jr.? It was very short-lived. Didn't really talk to him. I was pretty buzzed. I was like, holy shit, there's Chi Wee-Wees. Let's get a picture. Got a picture, looked at it, walked away. There's also a bunch of people trying to like talk to him, so I don't want to just hog him, you know? Just boys. Love Burns, but the new age of 170 is here next week. We will all see the future contender in Oban Elliott. 170, getting real good. Brian Battle, Elliott, and Joel Alvarez now at 170. Is Alvarez really at 170 now? I think they said they might have wanted him to move up to 170, but we'll see. Ariel alluded that the UFC met Jones' demands pay-wise, but Jon wants to fight on his own schedule. Hence, he's out there living his best life. Yeah, kind of a douche move, dude. It looks so disinterested in that picture. I'm sure he was, dude. I'm sure he was. It's not offensive at all. I'm sure he was very disinterested. It's all a money issue right now. Jon wants to be an unbelievable amount of money to the point where win, lose, or draw, he retires set for life. Do I look like I care about the belt getting stripped? Well, if he doesn't care about the belt getting stripped, then why hasn't it been stripped, man? Like, just strip him already. No diddy. Alma Khan versus older Topuria rumored. Your prediction? That would be a nice fight. That would be a sick fight. I feel like Topuria, Alexandre Topuria, would use his grappling to beat Alma Khan. Disagree about Jon being done. He loves the attention, and if he knows he's done, he just announced he vacated. Bring me back to life. Bring me back to life. Please let me know in the chat if we're good. I'm pretty sure we just cut out. I think we're back. I think we just cut out. We are back. We are so back. I do agree. I think he likes people begging him. Still decides to hold on to it. Exactly. Kayla is a plus 600 over Pena, assuming it's a dog or pass or some kind of prop. Yeah, I think it's a dog or pass. But, if Kayla wins, I don't really see her finishing Juliana. Juliana's tough, man. She's very tough. If she does finish her, it's probably going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be a submission, but probably. But I don't really see her finishing her. John Silva also leaked a bit of Charles's potential game plan. I did not see that. I'll have to check it out. You're not trying to hide anything at this moment. If Poirier beats Max and if Ilya beats Charles, do you think Dustin will come back for the lightweight title? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. If I'm Jones, I'd wait until he's stripped. Eventually, Aspinall will get caught, considering it's heavyweight, and all the casuals come out saying, and he thought he could beat the GOAT. That is probably true. Any early lean on Barbara Blanchfield? Kind of leaning Blanchfield, but I don't really trust her to get the takedowns. It's more of just Macy Barber's takedown defense isn't the best. But Macy's pretty physical. So I think it'll be tough for Blanchfield to get the takedowns, but I think it kind of goes like the Rose Namajunas fight, where if Blanchfield gets the takedown, she's probably going to have her there for the rest of the round and maybe could threaten with some type of submissions, but probably goes to decision. Ilya by round 2 KO. Ilya will have much more power and strength at 55, plus less of a weight cut. Bold prediction, but could be true. Only thing I don't trust is Charles's chin. Ilya does have a ground game, which people forget about. He's more rounded than Charles. Yeah, I mean, Ilya's ground game is super good. That's why I don't think, if Charles gets him down to the ground, it's like completely over. But I think it'll just make him work a little bit to maybe tire him out. I mean, it's kind of a reach, but it's a game plan that I think could potentially work. How much do I weigh and how tall am I? I'm 5'11". I'm not 6 foot. I'm not one of those guys that says I'm 6 foot. I'm 5'11", about 190, maybe 195, depending on the day. Sometimes 200. My weight fluctuates between 190 and 200 right now. So somewhere in between that. Pretty thick guy. Pretty thick guy. Not super tall, but Ilya is actually a high-level grappler. He just loves boxing. Facts. He does. Hey, do you believe Charles will retire if he gets knocked out, lights out, like he did Volk? I don't think he'll retire. What's Charles, like 35, 36? That's another thing going against him. Is that age? We just double check his age. 35. It'll be 36 in October. So I don't think he'll retire now. He started off with grappling. Yeah. Prates low-key built like Sean Woodson. Kind of. I mean, Prates is so skinny. It's kind of alarming, man. It's kind of alarming. Like watching him against Ian Gary, I was like, dude, Ian Gary looks more built than this guy. And Ian Gary's vegan. Like, what are we doing here, bro? Prates has some skinny-ass legs, skinny-ass arms, but, he's actually fairly strong for how skinny he looks. Like the way he was fighting off the takedowns from Ian Gary, it looked pretty strong. But yeah, he's like pretty dang skinny, dude. With 170 being so packed in the top 10 right now, what are some future matchups you would like to see? Well, why don't we do that? Let's pull up the UFC rankings. Of course, they got adjusted today because it's Tuesday. Michael Morales, number 8 now. Top 10. All right, so let's start with the champ. So JDM versus Islam is happening. I guess there's just no way around that. Bilal and Sean Brady at 1 and 2. I think you do Sean Brady versus Ian Gary, title eliminator. Fucking A, dude. If Buckley beats Usman. That's such a tough one. God damn, there's so many guys that are like one fight away from a title shot. And we don't even know if Shavkat's going to be around. This is tough. UFC's got their work cut out for him. So you have Michael Morales, you have Joaquin Buckley, you have Ian Gary, you have Sean Brady. Those are the guys on the come up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Shavkat, if he's healthy. That's like 5 guys. Jesus, dude. I think you could do Michael Morales versus Leon Edwards. Okay, Michael Morales, Leon Edwards. You do Buckley versus Bilal. You do Sean Brady versus Ian Gary. That makes sense. And Shavkat comes back in 2026. There you go. Morales, Leon Edwards, Buckley versus Bilal after he beats Usman. Ian Gary versus Sean Brady. Boom. There we go. Do you think that every man should experiment with another man at least once in their life to see if they like it? No, I do not. I do not subscribe to the Jon Jones motto. Thoughts on Jordan Levitt being a 2-1 favorite versus Kurt Hollabaugh? I don't think his wrestling is good to take him down. I think he's only good at BJJ. I think Kurt plus 165 looks good and could win on the feet. Yeah, I think you're right, but I do think Jordan Levitt can get the takedowns because Kurt Hollabaugh's takedown defense is not much. It's really not much. That's the bad part with Hollabaugh. It's like he's going to win on the feet against Jordan Levitt, but as soon as he gets taken down, he's probably going to be there for the rest of the round. So it's a tough one, dude. Like you could see a world where Kurt Hollabaugh is able to win easily on the feet, but once Jordan Levitt gets those takedowns, he's probably going to be there for the rest of the round. So it's a very binary one. Plus, Jordan Levitt's jiu-jitsu isn't terrible, man. It's not the worst, but I don't think he's going to sub Kurt because Kurt has good jiu-jitsu as well. Blanchfield is losing. Yeah, Silva was saying when Topuria throws big hooks, he's in danger to get his back taken. Maybe. He does overswing sometimes. Hamzat took Usman down every round. DDP was taken down by Brunson and looked awful. That was only in 2023. DDP getting steamrolled, in your opinion. Well, I mean, did he win all those fights? I think so. Just got to survive, bro. Do you and Matty Betts refer to each other as my BFF? No, we do not. My BFF is a ladies' term. Also 5'11", 5'8". Would the Apex be a good first-time MMA event to go watch? I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but like I think you probably gotta at least go to like a fight night first to get the experience with the crowd, and then if you go to the Apex, you could probably appreciate it a little bit more. I think the other way around, if you went to the Apex first, it'd probably be you wouldn't have anything to compare it to. I don't think you could really appreciate it, you know? What would be the next for Charles, though? Already lost against Armin. I mean, you could put Charles versus you could do Charles versus Max Holloway. If he loses, if Holloway, whether he wins against Poirier or doesn't, you could do Charles versus Max Holloway. I mean, that's a rematch long in the making. Pratis said he barely cuts weight. He's like, yeah, that's pretty small. Thumbnail with Raul looking off to the side. Could hella be a mean, funny pic, man. It was. Dude, we took that picture and Kyle showed me it. He's like, dude, you might want to get another picture. He's not looking at the camera. I was like, nah, that's perfect, bro. That's perfect. It's the perfect picture. 170 is so weird, man. Buckley, Brady, Ian. Yeah, I know. And Usman potentially, but I don't know. I just see Buckley beat him. You see Gary say it was mentally weak for JDM to make that comment about his kid. In my opinion, stop parading your family out there if you want to act like he's gone too far talking about family. Bro, Ian Gary literally talked about Neil Magny's family and put him in like a custody battle thing where they brought up what Ian Gary said. So I don't think he's got any room to talk. If Usman has that dog in him, he wins. But if he's unsure of himself, he's going to lose a decision. I don't know, man. That's a big ask. All that Gene talk sounds good, but come on. Clyde Baxter must have went with Matty's psycho parlay and is pissed off. Dude, I was going to put this in the vlog, but of course I forgot to film it. I was going to fade Matty's cycle with like the opposite of the pick, and it almost hit. Because he had Denise Gomes sub. I was going to do Denise Gomes KO. That hit. I was going to do, or he had Yadier Del Valle by KO, and then I was going to do Del Valle by sub. And then he had Lisboa by decision. And then to fade that, you do Luana Santos by decision. And she was on her way to winning a decision, but she got the sub. So it wouldn't have hit anyway, but it would have been crazy. Gaslight the public into picking DDP, so the odds are nice and juicy. Infinite money glitch. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really think I have any pull when it comes to betting lines. The only thing I really have pull on is the DFS lines. Those I have massive pull on, but regular betting lines, I don't think any type of content I put out is going to swing a betting line. How much do you think Chicago tickets are going to be? I'm going either way, but I could see the price is being really high. I think it's probably going to be pretty pricey, man. I mean, I think the minimum if you're going to sit up way in the nosebleeds, you're probably going to be paying $500, $600 because Chicago is an area that they don't go to normally, and it's a Hamzat pay-per-view. Hamzat's pretty popular, so that's my prediction. I think the minimum price is probably going to be like $600 to sit up way in the nosebleeds if you want to sit anywhere where you can see the fights, which is in like the hundreds. You're probably going to be paying over $1,200. So it's going to be pricey, man. The UFC comes to Texas this year or Phoenix. I'm trying to go to another event close nearby from El Paso. Need me a fight night in Phoenix, Dallas, or San Antonio. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they usually go to Dallas, San Antonio, or Austin, one of those within the year. Thoughts on Aaron Tal getting a second chance this time on road to UFC? I think why not, dude? Why not? I don't think he's a bad fighter. DDP wins by cutting a hole in the octagon and Hamzat falls through it. I could see it, man. DDP by third round, Hamzat falling through the cage, breaks his leg. They got to stop the fight. DDP by falling piano. What's your read on Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno with Dustin coming off some bad L's? Surprised to see him that much of a favorite. Well, he is coming off the knockout win. And after that knockout win, we played some blackjack with him in Tampa. He is getting older, though. What is he, like 36? That was a crazy knockout he had against Petrino. 37, yeah. He's 37. I don't think Bruno Lopes is like that good, but I wouldn't fault you for taking a stab on him. Fading the older guy. You def have pull on underdog and better, those bastards. They are on me, bro. They are on me. The Apex is worth it. If you have some bets going, plus, like you said, the seating is very good. 100%. 100%. I'll definitely be back. Just got announced. Zhang versus Walker. Did that really just get announced? Zhang versus Walker? Ming Yang Zhang versus Johnny Walker. Please tell me that's not a thing. Please. Please. How the fuck you spell Ming Yang Zhang? Ming Yang Zhang versus Johnny Walker. No. 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 Don't tell me. Oh, no. Wait. This isn't confirmed. It's potential. Well, if that's a fight, my God. Oh, boy. Johnny Walker. I feel bad for him. Jared Gordon won by I'm not afraid to take a stand. Oh, that's funny. Clyde Baxter. Thoughts on the chubby guy from WWP? He's also always insulting everyone and pretending like his $10 service is better than everyone else's, even though his bets are horrible and he's barely breaking even. I don't know. What I would say is probably give the guy a break. Give the guy a break. You know, if he's been on a losing streak, everyone goes through a losing streak. So give the guy a break, man. Give the guy a break. I'm sure he's doing his best. And sometimes the outcomes just aren't what you wanted. So give the guy a break. W's. Who do you think wins JDM versus Islam? I just got here. Sorry if you've already gave your take. I think JDM could give him a tough run for his money because everyone, is talking about how Charles Oliveira is bigger than Ilia Topuria. True, but that's a 10-pound weight difference. Nobody's really talking about how JDM is going to be bigger than Islam. Like, I guess they're relatively the same height, but JDM definitely a 170er. Islam has been making 155 for a long time. I don't know that he's going to be so much bigger at 170 than he was at 150. or 155. So I don't know that 15 pounds is, I mean, 50 pounds is a lot. And for a guy that likes to be a size bully at 155, there's been fights where he couldn't size bully guys. So at 170, is he going to size bully JDM? Probably not. Is he going to be able to strike with him? Probably. But is he going to be able to have a lot of success with it? I would say it's probably a 50-50, if not maybe a JDM 55-45, 60-40. The grappling is just where it gets interesting because JDM showed good takedown defense against Bilal, but he can be taken down. And I think Islam's grappling in the center of the octagon is a lot better than Bilal's. Bilal needs to get takedowns up against the cage. So if JDM can't stop the takedowns while they're out in space, that's where Islam can make him pay with some type of submission, because Islam's submission game is way better than Bilal. And I think Islam could maybe snatch something up if he gets JDM to the ground out in space. But I think it's a very competitive fight, very competitive. And I think it'll probably go to a decision, a close decision, where maybe JDM gets his hand raised based on damage. How much did the Apex seat set you back? Or is it invite only? It set me back $1,650. I went over the whole pricing thing in the Apex review. It's a video posted on my channel here, so go check that out after. I go through the whole breakdown of it all. Big Ange from We Want Picks is all good. He's not wrong with most of his takes. He insults other cappers like Lucrative and Mike Finch. Well, I'm not really a guy that's going to insult other cappers, but if that's what makes him feel good, then sure. I don't know why you would need to do that. I think there's plenty of great content out there, and people put a lot of work into their content, some more than others. But at the end of the day, we're all making content. We're all capping the fights. We're all trying to make money betting UFC. So I don't see why there needs to be insults thrown around. JDM beats Islam. Islam needs to be a weight bully, and he can't in his matchup. Kind of what I said, but you sound more confident. I haven't heard him rip on Finch, but I don't know if James is offering any value, TBH. I know James. I know James has some great reads, and I'm gonna get James on the channel soon. We talked about that. So Lucrative gonna be on the show soon for sure. Jacob from this turned into just MMA YouTube talk. What's the chance Ilya gets subbed by DuBronx? People are just getting sleepy on Charles in this fight. Yeah, I mean, he's 35, 36. I forget what it was. 100 pounds a month for plus 100 bets is pretty wild. I don't know what that means. Bet your house on Ilya KO. We'll see. I think Grant Dawson is a sleeper, but 155 is so cluttered. It's going to be hard for him to move up. I'll agree. I mean, I think Grant Dawson I think he might be one of the best grapplers in the 155 division, dude. The way that dude grapples is like a Dagestani, but he is like relentless with it. Like, he is a really, really good grappler. I think he beats a lot of the guys that are ranked above him. Would love to see Islam lose and have to fight Ilya. Assuming he wins, that'd be a good fight. I agree. Raul looks exactly like Verna, especially with that thumbnail. I should have said, Verna, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Thanks for cashing my ticket at UFC 314 or whatever it was. Bet the house on Ilya KO. I'm going to sprinkle the Charles sub. If he can put the house on one fighter at the next Apex card, who would it be? Why do I always get this question, man? Like, why do you need to get a house bet on every single card? Rarely are you ever going to have a house bet. The last time I had a house bet was Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I didn't see any way in the world that Jake Paul was going to lose that fight. There was no way. And then I did have a near max bet on Joaquin Buckley versus Colby Covington. Max bet for me is 10 units. 7 units is like a near max bet. I think I had 5 units on Jake Paul, but that was just because it was such a stupid fight. Like, I didn't understand the line. I was like, what am I missing? The dude should be minus 1,000. He was like minus 200. Buckley was minus 200, minus 210 against Buckley when I bet it. That was a 7-unit play for me, and that was easy money. Looking at the odds right now, I mean, Oban Elliott should definitely beat Brahimaj, but bro, you don't need a house bet on every fight or every fight card. Oliveira's getting slept. Watching from the UK. Shout out to the UK. Elliott's gonna win by sub just to prove a point. Probably will. You know what he's probably gonna do? He's probably gonna sub. He's gonna try to sub Charles faster than Islam did, just so he could say he did it faster. If Matty Betts, Donald Trump, and Natalia Silva were all drowning, and you could only save one, which would you choose? That's tough, dude. Like, I gotta say Matty Betts. I mean, I gotta trust that Donald Trump's secret security is gonna come get him. James makes great YouTube videos. I just think his paid service is very overpriced. Just to clarify, not to keep talking about it. I mean, if it's overpriced for you, then by all means, don't buy it. Don't buy it. But yeah, at the very least, he's providing you with good content on YouTube. So just take that. Just take that. How much is my unit size? Well, it fluctuates. So right now it's about $300. 300 bone skis. A unit is 1% of your bankroll. When I started out, my unit size was like $10 though. So, you got to build your bankroll, brother. One unit is 1%. And rarely would I ever, like, I'm not one of these guys that bets 30 units of cards. You have one terrible week, you're down 30% of your bankroll. It's going to take a big hit, man. It's going to take a big hit. So I usually go like anywhere between like 10 to 15 units per card. Somewhere around that. 10 to 15% of your bankroll on a card. The worst that could happen is you lose 15% of your bankroll. You still have the other 85. You'll be okay. Fave ever fighter in UFC. Right now, right now it's DDP, bro. Right now it's DDP. Ever? Then we'd have to be getting into like some legends talk. I mean, Dustin Poirier's, he's up there. Even Charles. Charles is up there. I'll never trust Hernandez again, bro. Somehow he regressed. He did look terrible. He looked awful, dude. He looked like he regressed. Fighters lose to low competition when they hit 40. Mike was pushing 60, so it must have been casuals betting. It was, dude. It was just all casual money. It was like 80% of the money was on Mike Tyson. I was like, dude, what world do we live in right now where people are putting U.S. currency on a 60-year-old man to beat a guy in his physical prime? Like, I don't care who it is. I mean, Jake Paul's not a bad boxer. Like, he's decent, man. He's solid. I mean, looking back on it, I wish I put everything I owned on that guy. Thanks for supporting Gilbert in his fight. Hope he's doing better now. Of course, dude. 1% of the bankroll, brother. Is it true you guys are trying to get MMA Guru out there so can jump him? Nah, I don't think anyone's gonna jump him, bro. I think I just want to get him on the podcast. Being a Wisconsin guy, were you a big Pettis fan growing up? Not really, man. I wasn't, like, honestly, I wasn't into MMA when I was in like high school because there's not really an MMA culture in Wisconsin. There's none at all. Like, there's very few gyms. Rufus Sport's really the only nice gym in Wisconsin. There's a couple other that are okay, but not many UFC guys coming out of Wisconsin. Not much of a UFC or MMA culture in Wisconsin. So I didn't really get into it until after I graduated high school. You think we see Dan Hooker versus Conor McGregor? I've seen it on DraftKings, but nah. Those are just potential fights. Had good money on RDR. W against Bo. Nickel, easy free money. Great bet. My units are only $5 and I'm up 437 this year, but went even last card. F putting the house on a bet. I put a beer worth. Yeah, there you go. Never ask a man how big his unit is. Pause. How big's your unit? Pause. No diddy. If you're winning 7 out of 10 times, it's worth betting more. I mean, you'd have to check the odds and the math, but we'll see. PWR is? I don't know. My unit is always growing. Okay. All right, we're going to cut it off there, boys. I appreciate y'all for joining. We're getting into some weird talk an hour in, but I'm going to cut it there. If you haven't watched the UFC Apex vlog/review, go check it out now on the YouTube channel. It's less than 30 minutes long. There's timestamps in the description if you want to watch the vlog or just look at the review. Go check it out. All right. Put a lot of time into that. It's a fun video to do. Also spent a lot of money going to the Apex. So I appreciate y'all for joining the live. Go check out the video. We'll be back very soon. I'm probably going to get the early picks out video to you guys within the next couple of days for the next UFC card. So going to start locking in on that, and we'll get back to the grind. Appreciate y'all. Until next time, Hey Job Picks. We out.